the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When the Magi had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Rise, take the child and his mother, flee to Egypt, and stay there until I tell you. Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him." Joseph rose and took the child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt. He stayed there until the death of Herod, that what the Lord had said through the prophet might be fulfilled. "Out of Egypt I called my son." When Herod had died, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Rise, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those who sought the child's life are dead." He rose, took the child and his mother, and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was ruling over Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go back there. And because he had been warned in a dream, he departed for the region of Galilee. He went and dwelt in a town called Nazareth, so that what had been spoken through the prophets might be fulfilled. He shall be called a Nazarene. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Today, the church celebrates the feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The church places this feast within the Christmas season to remind us that Christmas is not only about the birth of Christ, but also about the family into which Christ chose to be born into. God entered our world through a home, through relationships, daily routines, the joys, anxieties, and the sacrifices. With that in mind, let us hear again the collect, that opening prayer at the beginning of Mass. O God, who were pleased to give us the shining example of the Holy Family, graciously grant that we may imitate them in practicing the virtues of family life and in the bonds of charity. And so, in the joy of your house, delight one day in eternal rewards. That prayer gives us our direction. We are not asked simply to admire the Holy Family. We are asked for the grace to imitate them. And imitation is very demanding. When we look at our manger scene, this quiet, familiar image, it can be tempting to soften what it represents. But the Holy Family was holy not because life was easy, but because they loved God with faith and obedience amid the uncertainties of their days. As we bring 2025 to a close and turn to 2026, this feast reminds us of a truth that we all need to reclaim from time to time. Family first. Not family without struggle, not family without wounds, but family lived intentionally, shaped by charity. So let us briefly look at each member of this Holy Family and the virtue each teaches us. First, Mary. Mary teaches us interior faithfulness. The Gospel tells us that Mary kept all these things in her heart, pondering them. Mary does not rush to explain or control. She listens, she trusts, and she remains. St. Augustine captures her holiness well. He had said, Mary conceived Christ in her heart before she conceived Jesus in her womb. Mary teaches our families the importance of prayerful reflection, bringing fear, confusion, and hope before God, rather than letting those things divide us. To imitate Mary is to trust God even when we do not yet understand entirely his plan. Joseph. Joseph teaches us faithful presence. Scripture records not a single word from him, yet his obedience is unmistakable. When Joseph awoke, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. Joseph protects. Joseph provides. Joseph, too, remains. St. John Paul II described Joseph with these words: the just man who placed his entire life at the service of the incarnation. Joseph reminds us that family life is sustained not just by words, but by daily fidelity, showing up, persevering, and doing what is right, even when nobody may notice it. And Jesus. Jesus alone is perfect, and the perfect Son of God chose to grow within a family. The gospel tells us that Jesus went down with them and came to Nazareth, and he was obedient to them. The one through whom all things were created embraced obedience, work, and hiddenness. St. Therese of Lisieux reminds us that holiness consists simply in doing God's will. Let me share that one more time from St. Therese. Holiness consists simply in doing God's will. Jesus teaches us that holiness is often found in the ordinary, in shared meals, in forgiveness offered, in patience learned, and in love renewed day after day after day. As we look once more at our manger scene, we are not just looking at a decoration. We are looking at a school of holiness. God chose to reveal himself here in simplicity, vulnerability, what we call family life. As we step into a new year, let us allow the Holy Family to ask us 3 quiet questions. And I invite you to look at the nativity scene as these questions are pondered. First, let us turn our gaze to Mary. What is God asking us to carry more prayerfully within our families, rather than trying to control or to fix immediately? Now turning our gaze to Joseph. Where is God asking us to be more present, more patient, and more faithful in our homes, even when our efforts may feel unnoticed? And let us turn our gaze to Jesus in the manger. What part of our family life is God asking us to simplify so that love and charity can grow more freely? May this feast of the Holy Family remind us that holiness begins at home. Holiness begins at home. And may Jesus, Mary, and Joseph continue to guide all of our families. I'd also like to invite us, within our pews, the Knights of Columbus had distributed a prayer for the Holy Family. We're not going to pray that together, but it's a fitting day for that prayer to be distributed. Blessings to the Knights of Columbus, and I think that's a prayer worth taking home. Blessings to all of you. Such a gift to pray with you today.